The weather here in Central Ohio this week has created a pandemic of spring fever. And I don't think anyone has it worse than Kenny. He's already started spring cleaning. He got straight to work this morning working on Vicki's C10, but evidently we're going to have to make a trip into Jack's Wax to get stocked up on detailing supplies later this week, because it won't be long before the tracks are open and we can start testing locally. Although I'm super excited to get the 55 and the Monte Carlo up and running, for right now, I really need to focus on the Biscayne. This low-mileage, rust-free California Biscayne is the ultimate drag and drive starter kit. Between now and May 2nd, Vicki and I intend to enjoy this thing and make upgrades and improvements to it as we go. But in the meantime, we're just enjoying being able to take the car to dinner. If you're interested in a chance to win this thing, go to the oldmansgarage.shop, where you can pick up some merch and find all the information you need to win this car.
Good thing we got a big trunk.
Part of what makes this car perfect for drag and drives is how much room you have in the trunk. While storage space is critical during drag and drive events, it's also a critical element back at the shop. And over the last several years, wheels, tires, and old parts off old projects have begun to stack up everywhere, leaving the area behind the shop looking more like a junkyard. Now, typically in the past, I would have just loaded all this stuff on my dump truck and hauled it to scrap. But I've been waiting for 3 or 4 years for my brother to finish the engine swap. So today, Kenny and I have set out on a journey to find a replacement that'll help make our spring cleanup projects a little bit easier.
So we've got all that junk sitting around behind the shop that we need to get rid of. There's always scrap, old transmissions, engine blocks. It seems like it just multiplies every day. The kids have got so much crap out there right now, it looks like a junkyard. Not only that, but we're all the time needing to go get mulch in the summer, and I've got that water line I need to dig and move sand, and I just really need a little dump truck. So I found one on Marketplace that I think is going to fit right in with what we're doing. It's a 72 Chevy.
Nice.
Now, the thing of it is, Tommy had that 71 Chevy pickup sitting out back that he started years ago. We went to Tennessee and got it. That was going to be his first project. What's left of it is laying out behind the shop. But I had gone to Restoration World and bought $2,000 or $3,000 worth of restoration parts, grill, bumper, all kinds of stuff. And it's all laying in that truck bed out back under a truck cab, and has been for like 4 or 5 years. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff to fix up a 71 or a 72 Chevy truck. This thing just happened to pop up on Marketplace the other day. It's been an ongoing thing for like 2 weeks. And then I thought I lost it. The guy changed the ad and said pending. So I thought, well, he sold it. You know what I mean? I checked again yesterday afternoon, and he changed it from pending to available. I was like, huh, so it's still available. So I hit him up again. I'm like, hey man, I'd really like to come get this truck. He's like, okay. So we're gonna go pick this thing up and bring it home. Now I don't know how hard it's gonna be to load it, because it's got a snowplow on the front, and I don't want the snowplow. So I told the guy he can either keep the plow and scrap it, or we'll throw it in the bed and I'll scrap it. We'll just see how bad it is to deal with. But I guess this thing's been off the road for like 2 years. And I don't really know the whole story on it. I just know that the guy said one of the brake lines got punctured, moving it around or something, transporting it. Maybe when he bought it, I don't know. But it's been off the road for a few years. It's not, from what I can tell, it's not all beat up. But we'll go check this thing out. I'm gonna bring it home. We're gonna at least get it road ready so we can haul scrap and clean up around the house.
Next question.
Uh-oh.
Does Vicki know?
No.
Sorry, Vicki.
It's better to ask forgiveness than it is permission.
Might be in the doghouse.
I'll tell her it was your idea.
No.
So there's the backstory to what you're about to witness. But keep in mind that the pictures used to advertise this truck on Marketplace were not taken recently.
I've got a ton of gravel in my shoes, world on my shoulder, heart full of blues out in the dirt, down in the dirt.
When I found the listing for this truck on Marketplace, it showed the truck sitting in a driveway in relatively good condition. However, this is how I found it. Sitting on 5 flat tires sunk in the mud in the weeds with a lot of questionable modifications. To say that I was disappointed at first is an understatement. If the pictures in the ad had shown the truck in its current condition, I would have never left my driveway. To be completely honest, I was ready to get back in the truck and walk away, when Kenny started dumping gas in the fuel tank. What do you think, Kenny Powers? You think this thing will start and run?
It ran 2 years ago? It should.
yeah.
It ran 2 years ago?
Yes.
It drove back here?
Yes.
Oh my. That's been a rough 2 years on it.
Yeah.
It's definitely seen better days. Well, let's see if it cranks over. What? Oh my God. It is gonna run. Can you believe it? There, now you can see what the heck we're doing. Oh my goodness. What? Holy. As God is my witness, all it took was a couple squirts of ether down the carburetor and this thing fired right up. So now the hook is in. The bobber in the water is going up and down, and this old dilapidated dump truck is reeling me in. As badly as I initially wanted to walk away, I couldn't bring myself to do it. And so I turned to Kenny for some reassurance. Kenny, what are your thoughts?
A little rough.
Yeah. But, I mean, for what I want to use it for, just hauling scrap.
Perfect for what you want it for.
Yeah. Maybe not perfect, but
Cheap enough.
it's cheap enough. I can't believe it runs. It fired right up.
Don't sound too bad either.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it don't sound too bad. For what it looks like, it don't sound too bad. Dude, the bed on this thing is J-U-N-K junk. Oh my God, it's terrible. It'll haul scrap. Comes with a spare tire, brand new cab corners, and brand new rockers. I mean, what a bargain. The plow comes with directions right there on the dash. What more could you ask for? Well, I would have liked to seen power steering on this thing for one. So now we move on to the next phase, trying to get the plow off the truck. Currently, the hydraulic reservoir is empty, so the truck won't raise the plow. So I can't load it with the plow on the truck. So this is my out. If we can't get the plow off the truck, or if the truck won't move, I can still walk away from this thing. But as fate would have it, this old truck wants to come home with me. And so here we go. The truck runs and moves under its own power. However, I elected to leave the snowplow here in Indiana. With all but one rear tire completely flat, this old 72 Chevy walked its way out of the backyard and right up to the back of the trailer. At this point, Kenny and I both thought we had this deal in the bag, but nothing could have been further from the truth. You see, I borrowed this tilt deck trailer from Uncle Bob, and there was some slight miscalculations on how well this truck would actually fit on the trailer. You see, once you drive a piece of equipment up on the trailer deck, it's supposed to drop on its own, and it will so long as the weight bias works in your favor.
We all right?
Now we've definitely got ourselves in a pickle, because I can't pull forward since the rear wheels don't clear the fenders on Bob's trailer. What in the hell have I got myself into? In order to latch this tilt deck trailer, we're going to have to lift the back of the trailer and the weight of the back of the dump truck up. And unfortunately, Kenny and I do not have a jack capable of handling that much weight. So we resorted to some slightly dangerous yet highly effective means of accomplishing our task, using what tools we had available to us at the time. What Kenny and I thought would be the easiest part of this job turned out to be both the most difficult and the most dangerous. I think this is possibly the worst decision I've ever made in my life.
I think it's got a little potential.
You think it's got potential?
Jeremy's gonna love it.
Well, look, it's Jeremy.
Yeah.
He's literally Oscar the Grouch in real life. So with my latest prized possession securely strapped down on Uncle Bob's tilt deck trailer, Kenny and I head east, with the sunset at our back, with a 4.5-hour drive ahead of us, which gave me plenty of time to contemplate how I'm going to break this to my wife. Kenny and I agreed that the best way to handle this is to get the truck operating before she sees it. All right, everybody, it is Thursday. I got this thing home. And the problem is, one, the battery's dead, so I need to run to Mark's and get a new battery for it. But the other problem is, when I go to back this thing up, we're going to have the same problem we had when we loaded it. So what I'm going to have to do is back the truck up and then somehow unlatch the front of the tilt trailer and let it down gently. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do that. Okay, first things first, I'm gonna run down to Mark's and get a battery for this thing so that we don't have to continue to use the jump box to get it started and fight all that. Hopefully by the time I get back, I've got some help here to help me unload this thing. So first things first, I pull the battery out of it, set it in the bed of the 64, and head towards Buckeye Lake to break the news to Mark that I may need to increase my credit limit at the store. Well, I got good news for you.
What do you got?
I made a terrible decision that's going to work in your favor.
Is it really?
My parts bill is probably about to skyrocket.
Oh, nice.
More taters for you,
Tater patch.
less taters for me.
I like that part.
I bought a 72 Chevy Dump Truck. I kind of got flim-flammed a little bit.
Okay.
So I went to pick this thing up. I drove clear over to Michigantown, Indiana. I'm going to partially blame Kenny. I walk up on this thing and I'm just about ready to walk away from it. And Kenny starts putting gas in it.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, I got to film, you know, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I start filming. Well, the damn thing fires right up. And I'm like, holy crap, this isn't going to be too bad. Maybe we'll just drive it right up on the trailer.
Exactly.
Everything went downhill from there.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was so excited that it actually ran and that the windshield wasn't rusted out in the cab
Yeah.
that I ignored every other warning sign that I should just walk away from it.
It was too late. Welcome back, Kenny.
Mark reluctantly agreed to increase my credit limit at the store in exchange for an impromptu battery commercial. Well, you can stop over and take a look at it if you want.
Well, I might have to do that.
Give you something to salivate over.
Yeah, I want to watch you put this Legend battery in there, so I want to see this thing in action.
My action came to a screeching halt just 2 minutes later when the 64 died along State Route 79 with a plugged up fuel filter, leaving me no choice but to call the store for help and beg April to bring me an 11/16 wrench. Of all the people to have to come to my rescue,
Leave it to the midget to save the day.
I quickly pulled the fuel filter off and just attached the fuel line straight to the fuel log on the carburetor. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
April seems to delight in coming to my rescue, for whatever reason. Anyway, once I got the 64 to fire back up, I rushed straight back to the shop to hopefully get this truck unloaded and get it somewhat drivable before my wife sees what I've done. But as it turns out, Vicki wasn't the first one to find it hidden back behind the shop.
All this grief you give me and Dad about hauling junk home, and then you bring this.
I bought this to haul junk away.
How many times have you given me shit for bringing something like this home and telling me what am I doing wasting my time with junk?
This is a cheap dump truck. I bought it to haul junk away. Junk that happens to be here because of my kids.
Where's my junk? Show me.
Where's your junk? Oh my God. What's in the box?
It's not scrap metal. There's a fiberglass front end in there.
What's this?
Well, I didn't put that in there.
Well, what is all this?
Well, I cleaned all my junk out of your shop, but it's in the bed of this truck now.
You realize what these are? They're the original inner fenders for your 71 Nova.
I didn't put those in there.
Finally, it's time for me and Buckwheat to engineer a way to get this truck off the trailer. Just fire it up, back it up until I say stop, and then shut it off and leave it in gear.
What could go wrong?
Turn to the left a little bit. It don't have power steering. It's got front brakes. All right, that's good. Shut it off.
It doesn't have any brakes.
Yeah, it does. It's got front brakes.
Put my foot to the floor.
No, I'm telling you, it's got front brakes, just not back ones.
Make sure you got it running, and then you just hit the gas in first gear, and then that'll kind of even it out. So you don't have brakes.
See, there's pressure on the pin now. So I got to lift up on the back to take pressure off this pin and then let it down gently.
Because it weighs more than back.
Yeah, something like that. So I've been thinking about this ever since we loaded this truck up over in Indiana. I'm going to use the blade on the front of the excavator to lift the back of the trailer and use the excavator boom and bucket behind the cab shield as a safety precaution in case the truck rolls back.
See if you can unlatch that pin, Kenny.
Did you get it?
Yeah, you're free.
Not bad. Hey, this was easier than
$3.13.
You made $1 back.
Well, I'm $1 ahead
How much did
already.
you pay for this thing?
Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
That's top secret.
Yeah.
We're not talking about
he,
that.
He told me what the price.
Shut up, you. Back this thing off. Carefully. Don't scratch the paint. Oh boy. Turn to the right. Turn to the right. Turn to the right. Oh my God. Oh. It's got front brakes. Yes, it does. All right, so here's the next thing we got to do. We got to get this bed up so we can put hydraulic oil in it, because right now the bed won't go up and it's got this block of wood underneath of it. He said that was so that it wouldn't hold water.
What's all this wee stuff?
Well, I need help.
I'm not a therapist.
This thing's fucking 305.
No, it's a 350. It's the original
They
engine.
didn't have 305s, either 307.
Tell 'em, Jeremy,
They
tell
never
'em.
put them in C30s.
Probably a steel crank 4-bolt main 350. Come on.
It is.
It's like it makes a whole 105 horsepower.
180.
What you doing, KP? Oh. Taking the luggage rack off. So if anybody needs a weather guard light bar, rack, whatever that is, this one's for sale. For about $350. About $350. How do I get myself into these things?
He asks how.
You got that done yet? Listen, this is a fine jewel. You'll remember when you need to borrow this for firewood, you'll be like, hey, old buddy, old Bill, old pal.
He's already talked about and getting you mad so you can take it up to the farm.
What?
Yeah. You want your dump truck back? There's the price.
Oh, now you're interested in fixing my dump truck.
Not including brakes. Yours doesn't have any brakes, because you know why? It doesn't have air pressure, and I can move it around with a skid steer with ease.
Listen, I bought myself a dump truck, and here it is.
I know, your last one's in a million pieces at the farm.
Yeah, you were supposed to put it back together. You never did.
You kept breaking 10 bolts, and then you created that thing to
for
do.
Crying out loud.
How many 10 bolts? Let's go back to the videos. Kenny, you were here.
I don't even know what to say to you right now, honestly. How long has that dump truck been sitting up here? Have I been breaking 10 bolts for 5 or 6 years? No.
No, it's been about 3 years it's been sitting up there. When you started the channel, you brought it up to me to fix it. And then you drug me down here to do that and 10 bolts.
I haven't touched a 10-bolt rear end in 3 or 4
That's
years.
because I refuse to fix them anymore.
I put a 9-inch in it.
I
So what have
know.
you been doing for the last 3 or 4 years?
Because I finished dealing with that shit.
Dealing with what?
Your 10-bolt busting
That was
fetish.
3 years ago. Get my dump truck. I had to go buy another truck. Unbelievable.
Light does not shine bright with that one.
It needs a little lubricant. The directions are right there on the dash, by the way.
You want some WD-40 to spray down that cable?
Oh my God, it does work. Hey, wait, you're banging up. Hey. Oh no. Hey, you blew a line, buckwheat.
Oh, it's coming out of seal.
Oh no.
Seal's done.
Oh, that's a Jim Dandy dump truck you got there.
Where'd all these wrenches come from?
It'll cost you about as much as hydraulic oils you make on the steel.
Those
you
are
haul
Billy's.
in.
They were sitting on the bed.
Oh my
Telescoping
God.
cylinders. $1,000 a piece.
Well, that's what they're worth?
That's what, no, when they work, that's what they're worth.
Well, they're working.
No, they're not.
They are. The bed went up.
Yeah, it went up.
Yeah, but the hydraulic oils
Yeah, I wouldn't be standing underneath.
are running out. So we've got some problems.
Oh, I get the other side loose.
It's already loose. So take it forward over the hood.
No, backwards.
Backwards. What do you want this?
In the bed. Well, it's looking better already.
Got your name all over it, Bucko.
There's your another light. You can put that on your new fire truck.
No.
So, do you have any way that you can possibly delete that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah? How soon can you do it?
I don't know. Tomorrow, maybe.
All right, everybody, it's tomorrow. It's Friday. I was planning on taking that dump truck up to the farm to let Buckwheat chop and hack all that snowplow frame off the front, but we've got other problems here today. Billy's trying to put his 55 back together, and I don't know what happened, but when it got taken apart, somehow a lot of the parts have come up missing. So I'm having to pay and replace everything. This has been a fiasco.
Nightmare.
Of epic proportions.
Nightmare.
Everything that should have been put in the trunk was not in the trunk. It's like literally scattered everywhere and or missing. The brand new CVF Serpentine kit is missing the idler pulley as well as the belt and the belt tensioner. The shims are missing out from underneath the transmission mount, as well as the converter bolts and the straps that bolt the U-joint to the pinion yoke on the rear end. Unfortunately, that's just a partial list of everything that came up missing. The fuel log off the Dominator and the engine mounts were missing too. And I feel partially responsible because Billy let me put my 496 giveaway engine in his car to test it. So I'm going to jump in Bisquick and run into Jegs to pick up these parts that he needs. Earlier this week, I went up to Bob's and helped Billy film as well as dyno the engine. You'll get to see all that on Street Racing Channel if we can get the car to run so he can finish his video. Originally, he wanted to take the car down to Edgewater to test it tonight. But if we don't get this thing running this weekend, he can't finish a video of anything, regardless of whether it's racing or just driving it around the street or making test hits down on the test spot. So I was definitely in a hurry when I got to Jegs to pick up the parts and get myself back to the shop to help Billy with his 55.
How's Bisquick running?
They're running good.
Sounds good too, buddy. Really nice to meet you. Big fan, man.
See you, buddy. Thank you. I rushed straight back to the shop to get Billy his parts, and by the time I got there, they're putting water in the block and getting ready to fire it up so we can set the ignition time. Once we had everything done up top, we ran the car back up on the lift to install the converter bolts and attach the drive shaft to the rear axle.
See your dump truck yet?
No. What'd you do?
Well, take a look.
Now, Kenny Powers knew that I was stressing about getting this truck cleaned up and straightened up before my wife had a chance to see it. So while I was gone to Jegs, he swapped some old wheels and tires I had laying out back, painted the wheels, and put brake fluid in it so that the truck would be ready to make its maiden voyage this afternoon up to the farm, since I clearly don't want to have to load this thing back on that tilt deck trailer to get it up there. So far, the only thing we've had to do to this truck is put gas in it, bolt 4 used tires across the back, and put a battery in it. When I first laid eyes on this truck, I would have never guessed I'd be driving it up the road the very next day.
I don't know what gears this thing's got in it, but it's got to be like a 557. We're going 35 miles an hour, and it sounds like I'm in second gear. I'm in fourth.
Now, my brother told me that the gear ratio in this truck is either a 410 or a 557. And judging by the sound of the engine at 35 miles an hour, it's definitely 557s. This thing won't get very good gas mileage, but it will get you where you need to go. The drive up to the farm was loud, slow, and very smelly, but I did make it. So believe it or not, it actually runs pretty good, although it does have a 557 gear in it. 35 miles an hour, that's your cruising speed. 50, that's ramming speed.
Ramming speed!
We're gonna have to do something about that gear.
Well, I bought the last rear end from Astro, so I don't know what you're gonna do.
What'd you do, take the center section out of one up there?
Yeah.
For your 70?
Yeah.
Well?
Because I had the same issue. It took me an hour and a half to get into Columbus at 20 mile an hour.
Well, all I care is I can get back and forth to the scrap yard on the back road, and I'm fine. It'll be fine for that. But we're not getting out on the interstate, I can guarantee you that.
No.
And also, just so you know, you were right. It doesn't have any brakes.
You don't say.
Well, it only goes 35 miles an hour. I just shut it off and used the clutch to slow it down. Hey, I made it, right? So let's just go ahead and put brakes all the way around this thing because I want it to stop.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Probably new brake lines, new master, whatever it needs, just do it.
Yours is going to be easier than mine because you got discs on the front of yours.
Right, this one's got discs on the front.
But the drums are still a pain in the ass.
Well, take it apart and see what it looks like, see how bad it is, and we'll go from there. But I think it's going to be all right. It actually doesn't run bad.
Here, let me look, see how bad it is. Oh, it's bad.
You didn't even look at it.
I don't have to.
All right, guys, so I got that dump truck delivered up to the farm. My brother's gonna take it all apart and hopefully put it back together. Unlike my other dump truck, I'll be riding his ass like Seabiscuit this week to get that thing back together. Because if I don't, I already know what's gonna happen. It'll grow roots up in the front field just like my other dump truck did. In the meantime, we've got some goodies that showed up this week for old Bisquick back here. I've got a brand new CVF serpentine kit up there in the box, which we actually had to borrow parts to put that together, but that's another story for another time. I've got the serpentine kit for this and my 55 Chevy. I need to go pick up the air conditioning kit at Jegs. I was going to do that while I was in there picking up Billy's parts, but I wanted to see Uncle Terry, and Uncle Terry was at lunch when I was in there, so I didn't bother to get that stuff. But this week I plan on going in, getting the air conditioning kit for this, and then hopefully me and Kenny can get started on that stuff here pretty soon. But check out the website, theoldmansgarage.shop. There's a whole bunch of new stuff on there. Actually, new stuff since the last video also. There's some new designs for the Biscayne. I think you guys are going to really like it. This is going to be a really nice drag and drive car for somebody. And now that the weather's starting to get better, hopefully I can get it down to the track and start getting some passes on it so we can see what the thing runs now that it's got wide open throttle, now that the transmission's fixed, and I've done a little bit of tuning on it. I'm not done. I've got a lot more coming. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a fun one for me. It's not every day that I get to go play with a dump truck anymore. That used to be one of my favorite things to do, is go run dump truck and work and do excavating, and that one's going to be really nice because it's easy for me to load material in it with my excavator or unload material with the excavator with it. And I've got a lot of little jobs I want to do around the shop here and around the house. It's going to come in really handy, and I think it's going to fit right in with what we've got going on here at the shop. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that. I really appreciate it. We're growing very quickly. The subscriber count continues to go up and up and up. I think we're gaining about 22 to 2,500 subscribers every 28 days. That's really, really good for me. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. Help me out. I need all the help I can get.